Thank you. Because then I first would like to start with a short description. What is the difference between standardizer and structure checker? Standardizing is somehow like a translation. That means you have something, a term or a structure, and you really translate it in a specific way. Structure checking you can compare with spell checking. So if there is an error, you can define the rules. It's checked and you get either a warning, or you can say, I would like to have it corrected automatically. I hear an echo. Do you hear an echo as well? No? Okay, fine. So this is important to know those differences. When we started with structure checker and standardizing, we went through 4 phases, I would say. First, we reviewed the existing rules. So we already had installed structure checkers with Cheshire, and we reviewed all of the tools. Are they okay so far? Have we to change them? Are there, well, overlapping rules, whatever? And what are about the new abilities we see now with the ChemAxon tools we can implement and integrate? We had a lot of discussions here with the scientists, and with the new functionalities we got support from ChemAxon, because, and that was really great, we had a session in Biberach together with the scientists, and somebody from ChemAxon, I think it was Scholl, but I'm not quite sure, came and really give us and shows us the options we do have, the advantages and the disadvantages. So we had a good basis based on your experience how we can go on, and then we could decide. And this is what we have done. So we took then a representative subset of data where we went through the options we see, and where we saw as well where we do have gaps. There were some specific rules we couldn't cover with the existing structure checker rules, with the existing standardizing things. So we had to reach out for ChemAxon to provide us a customized checker. The decisions here in the second step were then really what type of standardizing do we use? When do we use? To which extension do we use? When do we use the structure checking itself? Will this be something with a warning? Will this be something where we need an automatic fix? Finally, when we went through all of those 3 phases, we decided that we would like to ease the life of the colleagues. That means we know that we do have one common rule set for registration of the data, and this is known to everybody. And what we decided then to do, we implemented all of the structure checks and all of the standardizing configuration as a template, so that all of the systems lead just can grab this template. They don't have to care about the specifics of structure checking and how to set up the rules. They just can take it and call it by functions. So how did we do this? We did this for the database cartridges with just Oracle packages and Oracle tables with configurable elements, and we did this with Marvin tools. So everybody can use this, and we are sure that we do have the same structure checkers based on the level of clients and on the level in the database as well, and that we have the same regarding the checks itself. It was, I have to say, it was rather easy to do. We provided with the package some automatic checks that we that the system just can call those functions and know, okay, I have to check for whatever is defined. And the second is that we provided some functions that if we have to re-index the database, or if there will be a new version of the cartridge, they can do automatic tests that they know that the structure checker still works fine, even if there is a new version or there was a re-indexing. So this is, I think, rather easygoing. It was a service for our colleagues, for the system leads. And we stored all of the default checkers and all of the configurations in the database table. That means it's easy to enhance. we provided a way that it is possible for the system leads to define their own messages if they would not like to use the default ones. And yes, what I just said, we can store dedicated structures for tests. So, seeing this, we just used what's there from ChemAxon. We used those basic checkers, like checkers for abbreviated groups and so on, put it in the database tables, called it by the functions, and the same for the clients as well. That was easy. It's an XML file. You just have add some lines, and then it's done. Then there is a very flexible way to check the structures with a substructure checks. That means you have just to define the substructure by smarts, define substructures, and then you can add it to the checker. You can name the checker, and you can provide this for the client, and easy in the database tables as well. You just can call it, and it's done. That's very flexible, a very flexible approach. And as I've already mentioned, there were some tools, there were some rules we couldn't really cover with the existing solutions. So we reached out for ChemAxon. We defined our requirements, and that was a very good cooperation. We got back a solution. That means we got back 2 files we had to implement on the clients, had to add it to the configuration files for the clients, Marvin tools in this case. We had to do the same on the database environment or in the operating system environment, Linux, and that it was done. That was all, and it worked. And that was it. I said to Janusz, it's impossible to talk 20 minutes or 30 minutes about structure checks and standardizing, because it's easy to do. It's when we start with structure checking, I got a bit, not I would say frightened, but I thought it's really difficult to do. But it's easy to do, and it gives up the time to concentrate on other things. And that's what I would like to give you as well now as well. So you have time for a coffee.
Were there things that you could not do in Cheshire that you say you can now do with ChemAxon? Or were you saying that there were some things that ChemAxon couldn't do that they have now done for you?
Okay, for the first question, that hasn't to do with, there was a specific topic with salt stripping. We do have a very specific way to do this. And there was another issue regarding gyral flex. So we have a specific rule for gyral specs that's really BI specific. That is what we could do by the help of ChemAxon. And the other thing, what was new for us is the handling of tautomers. And we had a lot of discussions first with the scientists, how to handle and standardize the tautomers, and then with ChemAxon. And that was really very, efficient and beneficial for us, because it was possible for ChemAxon really to show us the options we do have, so we really could decide which way we will go. And tautomers were new for us.
So basically this has been a win-win for both of you. You've got better checking and ChemAxon have got a better checker too.
Well, I think the BI-specific checkers will just be for BI. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But at least for BI regarding checkers, I would say it's a win situation for BI, yes.
But as regards tautomers, was that what ChemAxon already had with tautomers, which I believe is very good, incidentally.
Yeah. This is what ChemAxon already had. This was nothing specific for BI, but it was new for us.
Mm-hmm. This is a question, I guess, more for ChemAxon guys to answer, but it's around how much help you had in the original workflow and planning of the workflow. Were there sort of guidelines and best practices for establishing a workflow, or was that already implemented in the Cheshire model that you were using? Because I think initially you said, starting to use Standardizer and Structure Checker, you were a little bit a little bit daunted by the process. So it's just a question of how much information you had in terms of putting all the various pieces together to start off with?
I do not know if I understand your question correctly. Regarding the workflow, we didn't change anything.
Right.
So that's no difference regarding the workflow itself. What we added, what we haven't had before, we added now the ability to check the structures on the client. So we added those checkers, for example, for Marvin tools, or if we have implemented the Marvin as an OLA, then we can do this on the client itself. But regarding the workflows, there were no changes.
Okay, thanks.